This is oh, let me. How's everybody? It looked like you guys were able to chat before I got here this morning. How cool would that be that you guys could visit before I get here? Live chat. Nothing to see. I see that some of you were here, so good morning. All messages are visible. Okay. I can't see the messages, but they're supposed to be there. Okay. Well, good morning, Iris. How are you? I thought it looked like you were chatting while you were waiting for me, but I'm not able to see. I'm trying to move a chair. I'm not able to see what I thought I could. Now, anyway, I'm still visiting friends in Sedona, and this black thing behind me is a lamp. Let's see if I turn it this way. We've got good color in here this morning, don't we? And I have coffee in my. I bought a couple of handmade cups, bowls, cups at thrift stores this week. So, good morning, buddy. Hey, some of us who used to be techies are kind of technically challenged anymore, right? All right. So I don't have a super good subject yet to talk about this morning, but I am sure that in a very short time I will get into a conversation that's fun because we always seem to. We aren't running out of stuff. So good morning, Beth. I see Mary. I see. So I see Beth. I see Mary, and I see Iris at least. And it says there's 4 people here. And I'm having mushroom coffee from, what's the brand? Four Sigmatics coffee this morning with goat's milk and monk fruit sweetener. No. So I've been visiting friends in Sedona this week. And I have completely deep cleaned and worked on my rig, as well as I took on a foster dog for a minute to see what's going to happen with the foster dog. So mushrooms are good for our health, and I like coffee, and I think my COVID taste is coming back. So I have a good friend, Angie, who runs a homeless shelter and a dog rescue in Cottonwood, Arizona. And she, I don't think she'd posted in a while, but we know how all the social media things have been lately, that one person can do one thing one day and then they can't do anything. Somebody else is offered doing things that somebody else isn't. So I saw a post from her about the kind of dog I thought I wanted to have. So I contacted her and I was like, "Did you forget about me that I was hunting for a dog?" And she said, "No, I just didn't know what stage you were at." And and I asked her if she posted anything all year because I hadn't seen anything from her in like months, almost a year. And she'd been posting, but I hadn't been seeing her post. So, anyways, well, for whatever reason, right? I saw the post and contacted her, and she said, "Well, I've got this other little guy, and she thought he was a Yorkie mix, and he's not. He's a Shih Tzu mix." Anyway, so she was like, "You could try him on for a while. You could take him for a little bit. You could, do something, right? And so I told her that I'd been wondering how I was going to do. You want to come up? I was wondering how I would do. So here he is. So I said, she handles her adoptions in a very, I think, in a very user friendly way. Okay. First off, the rehoming fee is reasonable. She does chip them, gives them all the shots, and makes sure they're neutered. This little guy had been neutered and had a first grooming, like within a couple of days of me picking it. Okay. He, I didn't have any idea that this dog, whether this dog would work for me or anything. So I was like, can I just foster for now? Because I don't know what I want to do. And I know I'm mobile on the road, and I know that's, an interesting thing for dog rescues. Often are like, you don't have a house, how are you gonna, I'm good with pets. Anyway, so he doesn't have a name. He came from some no-kill shelter somewhere else, was transported to her within a week of her making sure that he'd been to a vet. And then she made sure, she did the next step, made sure he was chipped and neutered and all of that. And then got him a first haircut. He evidently was really nasty, matted, and, horrible. And then, then I got him to foster. Basically to foster. Good morning, as people are coming in. So he's doing wonderful. I mean, I think I'm gonna get some shampoo and give him a little bit of a bath, and see if I can find a comb him a little bit. Might even find some scissors and trim up some stuff. This dog, unlike Aussie that I had, he's fine. He's not having nail anxieties. He's very pretty chill. He has found his voice and started barking. The friends that I'm visiting with have two other dogs. I think it's a poodle. It's a poodle mix, but it's a bigger dog, and they have a shish too, shish poo. So it's a shish tzu mixed with poodle. This one's supposed to be a shish tzu mixed with a poodle too, and I think that it has more poodle in it but it has a lot of shish tzu. Anyway, so the deal is I'm just fostering him right now, and he's doing wonderful, and his surgery's healing up really well. And I don't know what that means. He's a great dog. I also, having a dog around me again, with it being my responsibility, of course, it like causes me to reevaluate what I want, why I want, and is it really the right thing for me? So having the opportunity to just foster a little guy for right now is probably the best thing, because I can decide and I can help him heal up and get to a stage where and we can know his personality better, so that Angie can then work with homing him in a good way. I'm tempted to keep him, but I'm not sure that I can do what I need to do if I do keep him. Boy, that's a lot of I do's, but it's a temptation. It really is. But knowing that I don't have to stick with the responsibility because I'm doing a foster thing is a good thing. He's fun. He's cute. I play with him. He sleeps with me. All that kind of stuff. We've been for car rides, and I thought that this winter storm coming to our area. Flagstaff is supposed to get hit worse. Sedona doesn't get horrible storms anyway. It's supposed to rain and be cold and stuff like that. But I think that we will go, maybe try to sleep in the car tonight with him. It'll be the first time for him. See how that works with him. But I took him yesterday, and we actually did a meetup with Miss Mary yesterday. So Mary, it was lovely to meet you, and I'm looking forward to more time with all of you guys as I'm able to. And I'm starting to look at maps and all for leaving here. So um, I know my way to the next location, but I was trying to decide if I wanted to break it up and go spend some more time somewhere else on the way down, because I can drive down to the quartzite area in like 3.5 or 4 hours. No problem. So, this guy does not have a name. He needs a name. Somebody suggested, what did she suggest? Wait a minute, I can pull it up on the phone in front of me. She suggested, oh, I just see a message from Candy and Rick. I'm so sorry. Candy and Rick are the people I stayed with in New Mexico, stayed in their yard, and they had their generators stolen and whatnot. They have a young pit bull puppy. Candy is very big into pit bulls and loves them. Well, I just see a message from from them saying that their puppy's sister puppy passed away yesterday. So I'm sure that they're very sad. That's hard on them. Let's see. The names that somebody suggested for him were Finn or Apollo. I like Finn better than I like Apollo, and I thought he looks an awful lot like an Ewok right in the face. I was like, wow, what an Ewok dog. But he doesn't answer to Tebow or what's the other guy's name? Wiki. He doesn't really answer to those. So maybe Finn. He looks like a Finn. He could be a Finn. Anyway, so I've been doing this. This has been occupying some of my time. It's good to have a project, people. It's good to have projects while we're out of. Oh, what a nice hug. It's nice to have projects when we're out on the road. And I'm actually considering that if and when he goes, no longer is my foster, right? Then I may keep some of the extra things that I've bought to help him. Like I bought a collapsible crate and things like that, and some silicone bowls that fold up. You want to get down? And I'm thinking about maybe I should just keep those with me so I could do another foster if I needed to. It's kind of cool. Anyway, so let me see what y'all are talking about. Um, I see that I think it's Geezer. He doesn't have a name, so we'll see. Let's see. It looks like the internet connection keeps blinking on me, so I apologize that it's having a blinking. Yeah, I kind of like Finn for a name for him. That feels kind of comfortable. How you guys like the new? I did a different hairstyle this morning. I've been practicing on twisting my hair and then braiding it over here, which is kind of more of a Norwegian, old-fashioned, but Norwegian-y. I don't know the right words for that kind of hair thing. And I thought, it was time to play with some new braids and things like that. And having the hair come out on this side of me kind of gives me a better. I'm doing those things too. All right, let's see. What do we need to talk about today? He is mellow, and he does have a bark. It's a little high pitched one, but it's not crazy. And he's been really mellow. Like when I met Mary for breakfast and coffee yesterday, we went to a barbecue grill place that's nearby where I'm at, and we just sat outside. They had an outdoor heater, and we sat outside at the tables, and he just watched everything. He watches everything. I'm noticing this, if anybody wants to have a comment about what I look like. Hi, Jules. I've had some allergens that I've been around. When I went to the thrift stores, of course, they're all decorated up for Christmas. And when they decorate up for Christmas, they often have smelly things. And I'm noticing this. And when I woke up this morning, I was kind of puffy. And I've been up for a couple of hours, but it's like the puffy hasn't quite gone away. Even my joints are a little puffy. And I haven't really eaten anything I'm allergic to in days. I did make a couple of mistakes when I was first here, and that's always a problem. And so, Jules, I'm so glad you're here. I've been missing you guys too. I really loved it when we were able to do the morning meetings, and it changed at one point with so many other people on that call and that what do you call it, on that website with that system, right? And there were so many people, and it started to focus in a different area, and it became less helpful for me personally. I still think it's a good thing for people if it's still out there. I don't know what's happening with that. I haven't checked in. And I thought I had a couple of friends over there, but they just stopped talking to me. So maybe it's all good and I just need to check in myself. Sometimes I think other people don't want to hear from me and I stay away thinking that I'm going to cause a problem, and that's not always true. And so I probably should check to see, because as I talk to people and meet people, I want to know whether I can still direct people over there that it might be helpful for. So, right, I'm not connected with them any longer either. And it's like I feel like I graduated to something else. This is helping me tremendously. I did really get a lot from those morning meetings when we were starting them up and everything. But for me, there comes a space when it gets too big or too many people, or they're people with a different focus, and if I don't relate, then I pull back and I do something new. But that's life. Everybody does that. So let's see. So we have this, and I'm trying to catch up. Yeah, whoever thumbs up. Oh, that was Beth. The Finn. I think Finn's a good name for him. I think I'm gonna try that today and see how that works. So I'm thinking that I will, because I'm blessed to have this friend here that has a very lovely house and allows me to come visit and stay in a bedroom and take showers and wash laundry and do whatever and use the vacuum cleaner on the car at my leisure, instead of always, hey, I got to pay for it and I got 10 minutes before the vacuum shuts off, right, at the car wash. So, so, I'm I am looking forward to now starting my process. I feel like I recouped, learned some new things, and I've been here maybe, we're getting close to, oh, I've been here a week because I did the other video when I first got here. So I've been here a week. And so I'm starting to like move on. And so I packed up things that I had used in her kitchen the other day and repacked my laundry, and my bed's already back in the car after washing sleeping bags. Thank you for all these. I should, I don't know what. I mean, she's not a needy person. Let's put it that way. But sometimes I want to help because she helps me so much. And I do help. I'm not saying I don't. But maybe I should buy laundry soap for her next time I come or something. I don't know. So anyway, so I've already done those packing things in the car. So I figured today I'd do the video, see how I feel, because sometimes I'm real tired after the video. It takes quite a bit of energy. And I thought that I would like fix my meals out there today by the back of the car. And that then perhaps tonight I would sleep in the car with Finn. We'll try his name out and see how he does with that. And then, of course, I'll be texting with Angie, and then probably if that all works out well and I'm warm enough and comfortable enough with the little bit of storm that's coming, which I don't see it being too much. It'll be rainy, but I don't see it being too problematic. And then go closer to Cottonwood, which is where Angie's based out of. Now, Angie would come up here to get Finn. That's not a problem. But I need to have some more conversation with her. How much longer would she like me to like hang on to him? Would she like me to go ahead and take him and travel and then be willing to meet her somewhere because we're not that far away, right? And I could come travel to, he could travel with me and I could bring him back when she finds the appropriate people for him. So it's not like it's a big issue. I don't mind doing that. So we'll see. We'll see. Right now he's laying on a pillow on the bed, looking out the window. Well, he was looking out the window. Now he's scratching. There, you can see him. That gives you a little view of this. Isn't this bedroom lovely? It's been very comfortable to get a break from the car and regroup because sometimes you just got to wash your sleeping bags and so sometimes let's see. And so okay, so Betty Joe, Brooke. On here, I always want to call you Brooke because it's what I see, and I'm trying to remember what I'm talking about. But Betty Joe, I'm fostering him for my friend in Cottonwood who runs both a homeless shelter and a dog rescue. And he's lovely. I don't know that I'm ready. I don't know. Okay? She and I are talking. I discussed it with my therapist. I also realized that as much as a dog takes me away from, like in a mental sense, pulls me away from my problems, my issues, my immediate, what's wrong with me? How come I didn't do blah? And how come nobody loves me crap, right? Even though a dog takes me away from that, I realized that I don't want to be stuck in either place. And when I had Ozzy, Ozzy was so needy that he pulled me away from what I felt like was my thing. He pulled me away from the RTR or Rubber Tramp Rendezvous center camp. And what I mean by center camp is when when Bob Wells started the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous, which is called the RTR, the center of camp was a big fire pit, and Bob was in one spot, and Neldon, Jerry, and Sherry and her little dog Tony, and me, and I didn't have a dog, and Karen and Tony, and you know, and there was a number, and that was center camp, and then there was another circle outside of us of other people, and I was in center camp, and I made cowboy coffee at like 4:30, 5 o'clock every morning because I woke up early because I don't like to use curtains unless I need to. And so the sun wakes me up. And so as it was just light, I wanted to sit outside and see it. And sometimes it was chilly. So I'd start the fire, and coffee's cheap. And so in a relative sense, I can boil water on a little tiny fire, and then I don't mind sharing coffee, but I can't afford to give you guys the things I don't even use myself, the milk and the sugar and all that other stuff. So it just turned into Lesa does cowboy coffee in center camp until Ozzy showed up. And when Ozzy showed up, he was so in need. He was so traumatized, a dog, that I had to protect him from other animals. And so I had to leave center camp. And so my having been in center camp for 3 years or whatever it was, and being a staple there, yes, I'm mentioned in the book. No, I wasn't in the Nomad movie. Why was I not in the new Nomad movie? The year they filmed it, Bob and Sue Ann both, along with other people, called me numerous times. I was paralyzed. I had a walker, and I couldn't drive my own car. And I asked them if they wanted to send somebody to come get me, I would come, but I couldn't get there on my own. And so I missed out being in the movie. And so I don't have fame for that reason. So, okay, so that's told you all about that. Will the rescue adopt a dog to a nomad? This is a conversation I've had with Angie quite often, okay? Under certain circumstances. The thing is many nomads present themselves as problematic homeless people. And when you present yourself as a problematic homeless person, you don't get received very well. And maybe you have a need for the companionship of a pet. So, taking that into account, Angie and I have worked closely together for years, and she's been asking me to come, and I haven't actually scheduled it. She's been asking me to come give some presentation, class, something at her homeless shelter. She takes in families with their pets at her homeless shelter. So she and I are discussing how to better help match rescue dogs with nomads. So that answer is not super clear, but I believe the answer is yes. Okay? I think it's a case by case basis. How can they monitor and see you in action with the animal? How can they have some kind of checking up later to make sure everything's okay and make sure that you don't just like abandon it somewhere or rehome it without asking, without checking in or something, right? And so I think under some circumstances, yes. But I know that there are many rescues that I have visited this summer. I went to Nevada, briefly California, Oregon, Idaho, and spent quite a bit of time in Colorado. None of those rescues would have let me adopt a dog. None. All they had was pit bulls. And I don't get along with pit bulls, and I don't have room for one. So if you're interested in more information about rescuing a pet as your a nomad or finding yourself another companion dog, if you want to turn a dog into your service dog, I paid quite a price, $300, I think, for leader of the pack training to try to train Ozzy to be my service dog. And that was because I was not willing to just put a vest on him and say he was one, because some people will do that. And I don't think that's right, besides the fact that it could be dangerous in some situations. So I paid quite a bit for training for Ozzy, and he was too traumatized himself. We couldn't turn him into a service dog. So he didn't become one. I became his service person. But there are training programs, and you can, as a nomad, because I know from experience, you can work out a schedule where you go stay in your camp area, and then you come in weekly and you do your homework out there, and you come in weekly for your class. And you stay overnight, maybe at a Walmart or a Home Depot or a something, right? Do a stealth night in town, and then the next day do your training class wherever it is. Usually it's in a park. And then the next day you go back out camping. And so you're gone for a week, and then you come back for the class. And I've done that before myself, so I know it's possible to do these things if that's what you're looking for. Let me check up with y'all. How are we doing on questions? let's see. For a dog, can you let me know the name of the place? Yes, I can. The way that you would contact Angie is through Angie's House, Arizona. I think that's right. Angie's House, AZ. She's on Facebook and she's based out of Cottonwood, Arizona. And tell her that you were watching Simply Lisa's live, and I was discussing Finn and the fact that I was fostering Finn, and that you would like some more information. And I'll let her know that I talked about this morning so that we can have a better conversation about it. Okay? But she's on Facebook and Instagram. She has a website, but I couldn't like maneuver her website the other day, and I don't know if it was my connection or their website. Janet is fostering a beautiful mom and some pups. Okay. Oh, I think I saw that online somewhere. Yeah, until they can be placed with a rescue or a permanent home, right? That's wonderful that you're able to do that. And it is challenging to do while we're on the road, but sometimes it's just remember that we're only doing it for a season and there will come a time when we can find the right place to put them. What is this? Beth had trouble getting a positive response in my quest for a new service dog because of the rubber foundation issue, and I don't state that fact. Whoops. Yes, Beth. Yes, absolutely. And the service dog thing, it's hard to be, it's hard to get a real service dog unless you're willing to pay a lot of money for it. And most of us who are disabled in some way and would need a service dog can't afford them unless you happen to be like a veteran or something. And or you know somebody personally. So I know some people who in the past rented themselves a space in an RV park or a campground for a couple of months while they did the process. But I think that there's ways to do this. We just have to connect with the right people. And I know that Angie is more interested in pets being placed in good homes than she is whether the homes have sticks and and I also think she's more interested in the relationships between the souls and the beings of the humans and the pets. She's more interested even when they're homeless families because she knows how important it's been in her life to have pets. She has an awful lot of dogs at her house. It's always between about 18, and she has lots of chihuahuas at her place. So, and she does have a list of people. There's a waiting list of, I think, 5 homes that are interested in Finn. So, I mean, it's lovely that I also have an opportunity, but I'm not sure. I don't want to take away from what I could offer other people by having a situation with a pet that would prevent me from being able to interact with other people, especially when I'm on the road. Now, did that make sense? Because what I mean by that is, like, for example, when I had Ozzy, I could no longer camp in center camp with Ozzy because he wasn't safe. All these other dogs were trying to attack him. He had been attacked by a pit bull. It had gotten his jugular. He almost died on both sides. And so the blood came out both sides. And that was after I had him. And so he was afraid of big dogs. And so he wasn't aggressive. But if a larger dog came at him or went to his space and got too close to the van or something, he couldn't, he was like, I'm not safe, right? And he would do the whole Yorkie of, so I had to camp away from other people, and I couldn't be anywhere near other dogs. And when RTR started being larger and the Class A's would come in, one time a Class A came in and parked, not camped, right? They didn't choose campsite. They parked 2 feet from my car. Okay. And I'm in an SUV. I need outdoor space and I've got a dog. And I'd been there 3 days. They pulled in with the Class A and let a German Shepherd out of the car. And my dog's on a leash attached to the frame on my car. And the woman comes out and says, "You better get rid of your dog because my dog will eat your dog." And I was like, "You just pulled up in here. I was here first. You need to put your dog on a leash. You're on BLM land. If he's on a leash, they can't get to each other. They should be fine." "Oh, I'm not leashing my dog. And he will eat your dog. He eats little dogs." And I was just like, this was when I just started going, I can't be an RTR anymore. These people just aren't reasonable. I don't know who you people are, but you didn't come from the same place the rest of us did. So you get my drift, right? So I don't want to, one, put Finn or another dog in a situation where they're not safe. Okay. I don't want to put me in a situation where I'm not safe. I also camp in bear country, and there are coyotes and mountain lions everywhere in Arizona. And I have coyotes, mountain lions, wolves, and bears near my cabin. And owls and hawks and ravens. And they will take small dogs, any of those. And so I don't want to put the animal in an unsafe situation either. And as I see the personality of Finn, he's a great dog. Let me just tell you, he's a great dog. Kind of quiet. He does have a bark, but because he finally found his voice, right? And he barked the other day, and it's a little high pitched, but he has a voice. His surgery's healing up. He's not on his antibiotics anymore. He was when he first came to me, but I don't want to put him in a situation where he has to feel like he has to protect me so much or I have to protect him so much. So you get my drift. And I want to be available for people out in the world. And I realize that I need more interaction with people myself. And if a pet is going to prevent me from being around people, that might not help me. And this is the stuff I have to think about. What is my purpose? What is my goal? What am I trying to do? I want to be more available to you guys. And so perhaps just fostering dogs is a better thing for me to do. And I could annually foster 2 dogs. I could do one in the fall when I'm going south and hang out close to where Angie's doing what she's doing and fit that into my schedule. And then on the way back north, I could do it again. And so it's possible, but I haven't figured that out. So that's all the thought process. I do think out loud a whole lot. Now, let me catch up to you guys. What do we got for, there's only 3,000 bears in Arizona. Who counted? But that's probably true that there's not a lot of bears in Arizona. But when I was in Idaho, there were a lot of bears. And one night I slept with a bear outside my car, 2 nights. And I decided that maybe that wasn't the safest place for me to be by myself with no cell phone signal. So I decided that because I did not have my food as well protected as I could have. And I could have hung a bear bag with my food. I did hang a bear bag with my trash. And mountain lions are a real thing. At my cabin, I have a mountain lion that lives down on my property, down the hill from my cabin. So, I do have to be careful. All right. Do we have questions today besides, I'm trying to run back through you see me looking in the corner. That's me, just checking up here. Yes, Brooke, baby girl, has helped you so, so much. I could see the difference, and I was so glad that nomad was able to foster and then let go of a dog that she couldn't continue to have two dogs. And so that was wonderful that she was able to do that. Pup rescued from heat stroke in the back of a pickup. Yeah, I knew about that. Yeah. Angie's wonderful. And she's a good friend, good personal friend of mine. You could post pictures on, oh, well, now that I'm thinking about that, I'm not sure whether you can post pictures on a comment on a video. I don't know whether you can. But I need to get some of those things together where we can talk better. So, can provide a good home on the road. Who is that one? B. My signal is blinking on me right now, so can you let me know the name of the place? I think I did. Angie's House AZ. And don't inundate her too much. Be nice about it, but tell her that you were watching my video and you would like to know if you could talk to her. And then when you're able to have a conversation and provide her as much information as she needs. Okay, let's see what else we got. Okay, so that you would know. Okay, okay. I think I've gotten all the way back up and seen all the. Yeah, I think I got to see all the good mornings and all the comments and stuff like that. So, yeah, Wisconsin has a lot of bears. I grew up in Maine and I hiked on the Appalachian Trail, right? And I hiked on the Appalachian Trail with a couple of bears too. Actually, a mother bear and her cubs for 3 days. And I kept just talking to her because I didn't know what else to do. But she wasn't going away. And so, you know, sometimes you have to deal with these things, and I need to be aware of that. I also need to be aware, know yourself, right? I need to be aware of the fact that I love to travel, and I'm getting ready to go to Baja if that all works out. The friends I was going with, some of them forgot to do one of their processes, so that may be might take a little extra. But I'm not opposed to hopping on a plane and going to another country for a trip or to stay for a while. I did that for years in Central America, and I realized after COVID, I'm not done with that. So if I had the opportunity to go to Europe, I would go. So, because I've never been to Europe. And I never had a sense that I wanted to go to India or Asia or any of that. I've been to Australia, but who says I can't go? I could go. If the opportunity came up and I really wanted to, well, then I would go. And having a pet does affect those decisions. Not that you can't take them, because you can, but it affects your experience. So how much of that do I want to affect my experience when finding out that I can foster a dog for a few weeks or a month or whatever might be a good way for me to get both. And I already, get doggy loves from all my friends' dogs. So, I'm Lesa to lots of fur friends, fur family. So I don't know, but that's a whole dog conversation, right? And travel conversation. And then let's add to that I also reconnected because I've had better internet access being in town. I've reconnected with my hammock forum buddies. And so I really do want to do my hammock camping. I love it. It's comfortable. Sleeping in a hammock is really a healthy thing for me and my body. I think it's healthy for many people, but many have never had an experience or a positive experience with a hammock. So, you know, you do you, I get to do me. And when I started off with a tracker, I knew this car was super small. And I was so excited that I could actually sleep in it because that meant I could start traveling right away. But I also knew that I really wanted to get camping. And so when I found the McLean and then I found the not McLean, but just like it, hammock stand that goes in a receiver hitch, I thought, wow, that would be great. And it would look good on the rig and it would look good down on the beach and it would, whatever. And so, really excited to go that direction. But then, having this thing in the back of my mind, this thought in the back of my mind about how I thought how limiting limited I would be by having a hammock stand that goes in a receiver hitch on a vehicle. That means that if I need the hammock stand, I can only use it with the car. I can't take it away from the car and still use it. Now, that doesn't mean I can't take the hammock away from the car. And so, like up in Colorado and stuff, there's trees. So, of course, I took the hammock away from the car and enjoyed it. Okay. But I keep looking for options. One, because the expense. Two, because every time I've gone to one of my mechanic buddies and said, can we put a front receiver on my car? They've all go, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. And then they won't do it. And I was like, even if I have the money, I don't understand why you guys don't want me to do this. They don't give me enough information for me to say, well, okay, I don't want to do it because it'll hurt the car somehow. Or, if they gave me a good reason, then I could accept it. But for now, it's just like, well, I don't know what the problem is, but okay, I'm not doing it yet. Okay. But the idea of so reconnecting with my hammock forum buddies about hammock camping. I was talking to them about like there's this Yobo hammock stand that I've seen. It's too many pieces, and it's all these like airplane wire pieces between guy lines between this, that, and the other. And yeah, it's freestanding, but it costs almost $2,000, and it has all these parts and pieces and strings. And I was like, yeah, no. And the McLean or the not McLean, the receiver hitch stand is an expense all by itself, but then you still got to put the receiver on the car in order to use it. Then well, anyways, there's all these other things. So I started looking again at the Tensa, and the Tensa 4, it packs really small and could pack small enough for you to take it on an airplane if you wanted to go to a foreign country, or it's small enough that you could put it on a bicycle if you were doing people powered transportation, which I used to bicycle. I had been told I'd never bicycle again. Lately, I've been thinking I may as well try. I haven't yet. I'm a little scared. Weird, right? Scared of what? I'm going to fall and just do it in a sandy place, not on cement, right? I don't know. But it's like I haven't ridden a bicycle in a long, long, long time. But man, a bike trip would be fun. So, yeah, Iris, it's the receiver is just like a trailer hitch that you put on the back of a car. I didn't think of that. That is a good point. I don't know. But it would attach to the frame and it would stick out and have a 2-inch socket receiver where you would be able to put accessories into it. That's all it is. It's just like the kind that's on the back of a car that you would use for towing or the back of a truck for towing. So, yes. I just see that note about Angie's house. Yes, that's what you see. I don't, I couldn't find that she has a page for the dog rescue, but she's the one who runs Angie's house homeless shelter for people and families with their pets. But she also runs a Yet Rescue, but I couldn't see it as a page. I'm not sure she has a page for that. I just know her and I know she does this. So, all right. So we talked about Finn and foster dogs. Oh, he lifted his head up for that, huh? You like that name, Finn? I think that's a good name for him. Um, so we kind of talked about those things. I'm getting ready to come closer to y'all, Betty Joe. I'll be down there sometime in the next few days to a week. I will be down in the Quartzsite area. I am seriously considering opening up my camp to you all. Um, I Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about doing. Is opening that up so if you want to come camp with me, you can. And I will, move around some as I feel like it. But that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, it could be the problem, Iris, that it's in the way of doing work. I don't know about that, but some guys have said no problem. Let's just put one on, but I'm not in the right space for that. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. That you could come camp with me. Sorry, I'm late. Always late because I ferry kids to work at this time. Hey, thank you for ferrying the kids. And it's okay that you come whenever you want to. I try to be here for an hour. We're almost at an hour. And I felt like I wasn't as focused today with a specific thing to talk about. I'm bringing a few more aesthetics into my tracker, Chevy Tracker Travels. That's the CTT that I put on the beginning of this title was Chevy Tracker Travels. That just tells you I'm still in that car. Okay. Because I need to go back and do some videos and blog posts with pictures and stuff and tell you the stories of Van Tucket travels and, Costa Rican travels and whatever else. I found pictures from Costa Rica of me peeling rice. What a thing to learn, how rice is peeled and grown and whatever. Um, oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, the heat. Oh, you know what happened to me one time, little van life person there? Um, One of those first years, I was down in Quartzsite at one of the early RTRs. I'm going to say in the first 2 years. I had like 5 or 6 people follow me away from RTR and camped along with me as we traveled for, I don't know, 6, 8 months. Okay. And yes, it got tiring. That was hard for me. But they were like, well, you know how to do this and feel safe sleeping beside you. And I was like, "Oh, okay, all right, well, you just come on. And I expect you when you're ready, you leave. And so you just tell me so I'm not, scared for you or concerned. But when you're ready, you graduate yourself and you say, okay, I'm ready. I'm going to go today. So you guys have fun. I'm going to go do this. And makes us feel good. Well, anyways, one of those first years, all these people following me, and I'm the only one who knew how to use mapping apps at that time. And I mean, we're talking this is 2012 when like Google Maps wasn't even much of a thing, but I knew how to use it, right? And I was one of the only ones using it because I was real tech savvy. We're driving through Phoenix. I got 5 or 6 people following me, and my phone's on the dash of the van, and the phone gets too hot. We're on, I'm trying to remember what the roads are down there. Anyways, right in the middle lane going through Phoenix, had not got to the next stop, which I think we were going to a truck stop next, right? Like a Love's or something, because somebody needed gas or something. And we're not there yet. And my phone says, the temperature's too high or it's too hot. And so shutting off your phone and no option, and it just turned it off in the middle of the road, and I was following it to get me wherever I was taking these 6 people behind me. So here we were in a caravan, and I'm like, well, I'm screwed, let's see how we're, and I've got no walkie talkies to talk to anybody or anything. That was, oh, that's a challenge when you have things like that happen. And when you feel like you're the only one being the responsible one trying to help people. It's like some of these people behind me were so scared to be driving through a city. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm just watching for a gas station or a truck stop, and the next one I see, that's where we're gonna pull off, and we're just gonna like, sometimes people thought I knew what I was doing, but sometimes you just do what you gotta do. I found uh, I found that if you could put your phone near your vent, and if you have air conditioning, and let the vent air condition your phone, that will help. If you can't, learn to listen to it instead of looking at it, right? And then that doesn't always work. And then the other thing is to, yes, shade it somehow. I've actually used like a ball cap over it. I saw on Amazon the other day that for a certain size phone, they make a sunshade. It's like a Japanese thing or something. But they make a little sunshade that goes around the back of your phone. But they also make these little silly looking little umbrellas, so that when you're at the beach, you can put an umbrella on your phone and you can adjust the angle to shade the phone. So maybe those things would be helpful. I don't know. I've never had one, but I have done things like, put a book on the dash just right so that it like leans, so it insulates the phone from being, but hey man, if you've got to, make something and put, you know what? Those sticky pad things for making things not slide off the dash, those things actually work. And if you need to cut one of them and make a little reflective sunshade, unless it shines in your eyes, right? Make something, insulate something, make it pretty, make a pretty little, thing. I don't know. Make it aesthetic. It's an idea. It's something you can do. Project for somebody. I know Candy loves craft projects. We should have taught her that one, and she could make a couple of bucks. Sell them for $5. It's an idea, people. I think it's a good idea because I think that's a problem for a lot of people. And of course, like in my car, when I ever get to the stage to deal with my radio and mapping and things like that, I mean, my radio is an aftermarket radio already, and there's space enough in the tracker for it's either a double, I think it's a double din radio thing goes in mine. And I could, and someday if I could, when I can afford it, I would love to switch and have a touchscreen dash mounted mapping system radio thing, right? And it is possible to do that. And of course, you're going to spend $300 or $400 on that project. So, I'm not going to do that first. First, I'm going to make sure I'm mechanically sound. Second, I'm going to make sure my tires are fabulous. Third, I'm going to make sure that it's waterproof and all of that stuff so that, sleeping in it, you're good. And then we work on aesthetics and all those other things. But in the meantime, while you're living in them, don't forget to bring some pleasurable things inside your rig with you. I mentioned that the other day, and I got a couple of emails where people were like, "Thank you so much for telling me that. I forgot about that. I'm going to bring something that means something to me into my space because I didn't realize I missed it." And, vacuum your space once in a while. Change the blankets, take them out and wash them. Yeah, I've been blessed that I could wash all of my sleeping bags here at this house, but I've done it at laundromats, and it's not a hard thing to do, but it makes you feel so much better. And when you get a shirt, even if you, like me, buy a shirt from a thrift store, I think I paid $2 for the shirt at a thrift store, get a color that makes you feel good. It's worth it. It's okay. I decided to get a handmade pottery cup bowl thing, right? Okay, I had coffee in it, and if you see that, that's coffee grounds in the bottom. Anyway, but well, coffee sludge. It's not really grounds, but anyway, I'm gonna carry this in the car. It's not that much weight. I won't hike with this, and I most likely would not take it to a foreign country, right? If I was going to get on an airplane and go do some other travel, I would not take this cup with me, but it can stay in my rig. And I have space enough for this in the rig. And so it's okay. And it's the same thing with this. If I was traveling internationally, I would take this comb. But since I'm out here, don't look at the fuzz in my brush, but because I can be here, I have a boar's hair hairbrush. So why not? And I do care for my hair in an kind of old-fashioned style hair care. I do not wash my hair as much as most people would think you need to, but I think that's why my hair looks so good and grows so long. Although, yes, a lot of that's genetics too, probably. But if I'm traveling internationally, I'm only taking a comb. And if I'm hiking, I'm only taking a comb. It doesn't weigh much, and it works. And that way I don't have to have plastic on, because I really don't love the whole plastic thing in life. And so, okay, that's what I do. All right, let's see. We're at an hour and 2 minutes. So I could technically stop. Do we have more questions today? I feel like I've visited more than I've done informational or helping, or well, I'm not trying to teach exactly. So but I hope it's been useful. Let's see what news out here. Oh, there you go. Okay. So, no worries. Okay, where are you, Mary? Phone just shut down. We got that. So, yeah, okay, we got that. We got reading comments so that anybody rewatching this knows what's going on. Okay, and there's something from Brooke, and Little Van said something about, gonna need the sunshade for Sedona. Haha. Yeah, but it might snow tomorrow, so or tonight, and they don't usually get or keep much snow here, so I'm not really worried about it. But I am feeling like it's about time to start traveling, and I'm probably gonna go sleep in the tracker tonight instead of in the bedroom. Don't forget the thumbs up. Thank you so much, Beth, for that. Sitting next to a heater in Arkansas. I bet you are, because I know it's cold there right now. Wondering about getting walkie-talkies and what type. Do a lot of people use them out there? Seems to be a good backup. Yes. I want walkie-talkies. I've been looking at the Bo something. Chinese multi-band radio thing. It's a thing. If you look up overlanding communications and stuff like that, it's a thing because it has CB. Now, am I going to say it right? MSR, MS, whatever it is, band walkie-talkies, the two-way walkie-talkie range, and NOAA emergency radio and something else on it is all on the one piece. And it's a pretty good starter thing, but it looks a little complicated. So I haven't really done that. I love Midland as a company. I've had some Midland stuff in the past. And so Midland makes a little CB radio that looks like just the handset from the past. And it's 12 volt and it doesn't take much power. But a lot of these communications things take a lot of power. So you need to kind of decide how you're going to use them. I did a trip with Brian Leonard from in Arizona and we were traveling together and it was the first time I used radios. I don't think I was driving his Jeep. I think he was towing his Jeep and I was just driving behind him, but because he had the set of radios, he has four that came in a set. I was able to have one. And what a blessing. You can clip it on your seatbelt. Okay. If I'm in the car, my seatbelt goes across this way. You can clip it on the seatbelt, like right up here. And then you can just hit the button with your finger and talk. Well, it was so nice. It was like, Brian, did you see that thing? Look at that view. That's incredible. And so, what a blessing to be able to have that. And a lot of those little walkie talkie two-way radio things, if you they don't have a super great range. Sometimes they don't really, the reception doesn't really go over a mountain or something like that. But if you're close enough to the people you're traveling with, the different brands will often work with each other, and it's a blessing to have because you can't pick up your phone and maneuver. And to just be able to push a button and talk to somebody, and the fact that you can just clip it right on your seatbelt thing. I don't know if any of you watch Chrome and up in Canada, Van City Van Life, CA. If any of you watch him when he travels with his girlfriend, they have radios and they hook them on their seatbelts too. So that's a you can see that. Yeah, sticking it in the fridge to cool off is a good thing. Uh, phone in the fridge. I came from a big city and moved to a smaller town. One of my toughest cities driving through. St. Louis was kind of not fun. Um, oh, oh, that's you, Mary. Yeah, Alaska. Yeah, Alaskan sun would not have made your phone overheat. That's true. I had to upload a video. Okay, so Iris, it's 2 degrees in North Dakota. Oh wow, sorry guys. um, Sitting around with our feet up and our umbrella phones. Yeah, there you go, umbrella phones. That's funny. Oh, and Jules, I saw one that like it's enough of an umbrella that you know how some umbrellas have the rainbow colors, and I know you kind of like colorful things. It's like every section is a different color. I think they have one of those too. Uh, okay, let's see. I'm reading comments so that I can see if there's questions. Mechanically sound, tires, waterproof, aesthetics. Yep. Pets if you need them. But, don't forget to do your vision board stuff. But your vision board does not need to be a collage sitting in your space. All it needs to be is, hey, the ocean that's this color is beautiful and I can't wait to get back in it again, right? That that's the reminder. It doesn't have to be a picture of the ocean on a collage. So you might want to choose to put yourself in the Caribbean blue blankets every night because it reminds you of swimming in the Caribbean and that's what you've always wanted to do or something. I don't know, maybe a seashell decoration, maybe a oh, and don't forget plastic plants won't die in your van, and they do give you an aesthetic that you can't get. And I mean, it's great if you can keep a plant alive, but if you go through the California checkpoint thing and you get the orange police that I got a couple of times, they might take your cactus from you or your plant from you, and you don't want that. So, sometimes it's just easier to just do the plastic plant and don't worry about it. And they wash off. Okay, let's see. Practical. Thank you. Whoever said they love me, thank you so much. Those comments help. They really do. Uh, I don't know where the wine came from, but you know what? I do like a good glass of wine once in a while. Uh, what? Um, Simply Lisa, it says Kisa, but I think you meant Lisa. I'm actually in Arizona right now. I'm in Sedona today. Oh yeah, there you go. You cut the autocorrect problem. Walkie-talkies or CB. Walkie-talkies over CBs first. When you can afford it, have both. Because I mean, I want to get back on a CB, and I know people don't use them like they used to. But if we have an EMT strike or some weird thing, okay, I'm not trying to make those things happen. But if I was having a problem with communications at my cabin, I would be trying to make the CB work first because I'm gonna find somebody out there that's got a CB. Okay, and the range on the little two-way radios, ASMRs or whatever they are, the range on those is not like great, and I have not dealt with ham radios. It's an interest of mine at this stage of the game. So, yeah. Let's see. Oh, I'm so sorry about that deed problem. Yeah, wow. Um, yeah, I would go with walkies first, especially if you're on a budget. And that's what I want first is walkies, walkie-talkies. That's it. That Baofeng radio, yeah. hmm let's see. Chrome is awesome. Whoever said that, and Emmy, yep. Walkie-talkies would be great when boondocking with no cell phone. I agree with that. I agree with that. At least if you were in an emergency situation, you might be able to get a hold of somebody. And I gotta tell you, all these people hiking and, professional folks out there, professional YouTubers who are, trying to make a buck by selling a product and whatever else. They've been talking about uh, communicators, spot communicators, and there's a number of different brands of them now. They've been talking about those for years. I have said for years, have skills first because skills don't cost anything. Okay. And all those little communicators like that all have a monthly fee. And so they cost hundreds of dollars to get the equipment. And then you've got to pay up to $100 a month for them to work. And then if you press the emergency button because you're in an emergency situation, all it connects you to is a police station. It hardly ever connects you to any experienced outdoorsman rescue teams. And in my humble opinion, please understand, don't let what I think affect your safety, okay? But in my humble opinion, they're not going to help me as fast as I'm going to need to help myself. And so I can't afford those, so I'm not buying them. I can't afford the service. I can't even afford my phone. I mean, I'm still using a free phone because I qualify for it on my disability. And so I don't recommend them. Do I like the idea? Sure. When I saw bivy sticks when they were first creating them, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I was like, oh wow, that's a great idea. I can't, I'd love to have one of those, but nah, I can't afford it, and it's not consistently working. And I recently saw where some ultralight hiker got into a situation and pushed his button, and the guys that came to rescue him like bashed him all the way out. Didn't even like check, didn't say hi and are you okay. None of that when they first met him. They were just like, you need to get your ass out of here like now. And it's like they didn't follow any of the safety protocols that we're taught. Not that those safety protocols are always the best thing for you. You got to judge your own situation too. If you've got a mountain lion breathing down your neck, you might need to move your location. You can't exactly survive that by hitting a button on a spot locator thing. What good's that gonna do? You've got minutes and you're dead. So, or you fell down a thing and you're with a friend who like fell off a waterfall and it's winter. You hit the spot locator, but those people are going to be hours before they get to you. So what is your skill? So I think that's a little more important there. Okay, so I got into that. Let's see. Okay, hold down. Walkies can be helpful. Yes, I think that on bike rides and hikes and all of that. So I think they're really good. Digital vision boards can be fun. Yeah, but digital, like Pinterest, yeah, great. Except for they're not in front of my eyes all the time. Okay? I have to remember or I have to be able to open up a computer with service to see what's going on there. Right? Well, bummer. I don't always have service. So unless I've downloaded the photos, I can't even see them. I've got a Chromebook. The thing's kind of useless on an everyday level. But in my off-grid life. Um, but but remembering, like I said, your vision board, kind of reframe your idea of vision boards being a collage that's just a thing on a wall, and kind of switch that to it's your choice of how you aesthetically decorate your space. So perhaps you decorate your space with certain colors or certain patterns or certain designs. Maybe your blanket is a picture that's important to you, or your pillow, right? Or you flip down one of your visors that you don't use 24/7 and you actually do the collage up there. Or maybe it's one side of your window covering or something. But, kind of think outside the actual box. Okay. No, I'm in somebody else's house, whoever asked that, wise woman. I'm at a friend in Sedona. Although I probably shouldn't be saying that so much because, yeah, I'm not at my house, no. Uh, okay, let's see, Betty Joe. CB is used by truckers. Yes, but truckers don't use them like they used to. So I guess of back and forth with the whole CB thing, but I do think I would like to have one. And I do think that in some situations, having more than one option is good. But how much shit do I want to carry? Right? Seriously. Okay, so what else? Hard to find. Okay, still in shock with those bullies that try to. Oh, yeah, whatever. Yeah, well, don't be in shock. That's the way the world's been for a long time. And that's why I'm not often at our rubber tramp rendezvous. It is why I am not in a caravan. It is why I am not hanging around all those people, because those people have changed. When it was the original first crowd, the OG RTRs, we were different. We were all more similar. And it was a whole different thing. So I don't do well in those crowds. I don't think like those people, and so they all can be over there and I'm over here. And if you want to be more practical and hang with me, well, come visit with me and see me next Sunday on Simply Live with SimplyLesa. Still doing Chevy Tracker Travels editions. And and check in with me to see about coming to camp with me while I'm down in the warmer weather section of the country for the moment. My rig's not set up for winter. I mean, it's doable, but it's challenging at this particular moment. And so I'm not hunting for snow. I could, but I don't feel like it. Uh, yeah, I don't RTR anymore either. And that does not, please do not take that in a way that it is not intended. I have no bad feelings toward those people at all. They've helped me over the years tremendously, and I've helped them too. And whether anybody says that or not, that's really inconsequential. Um, just like the Nomad chapters, morning meetings and all, I so appreciated that, and it helped me learn some things. And I no longer morning meeting with Nomad chapter either. But sometimes we graduate ourselves out of things. We get to a stage, and I call it that, graduate ourselves out of things, right? You get to a stage where it's like, oh, okay, I did that. I can go beyond that. I'm going to go somewhere else now. And so, yes, Bob Wells always seemed to be, I can't remember if he said it himself, but I think he did say it himself, that he basically was Nomad 101. And it always kind of felt like that. And after the first couple of times you're at the fire pits, it's like, okay, why am I going again? Because there's nothing I need to say. There's nothing much I'm going to learn. I mean, yeah, okay, you learn from new people, but you learn a lot just sitting around a campfire with people, or just being in a space, or running to the grocery store with somebody different, meeting up, and and Betty Joe, or she's on here as what, Bonnie? Didn't we learn a lot the day that we were escaping the fire in Flagstaff? Didn't we learn a lot driving that more as a caravan than picking a meetup spot and just, I'll get there and you get there and then we'll all feel more safe? It was like everybody wanted to drive together, and we went, but boy, didn't we learn some stuff. We did, because my car, the wind was blowing so hard that my car blew so close out of my lane toward a semi. And my car is a very lightweight but very kind of square vehicle. And so the wind was so strong, it moved my car on the road. Well, I was 5 inches from the semi that was passing me when it went. And I was like, oh shit, I'm going to die out here. So I remembered that Route 66 is parallel to I-40. So I just got off the next exit because this was not safe. And then I did some quick things on my phone to readjust. Is there a way that will help me maneuver around so that I end up in the general direction that we said we were going? And I think it scared Brooke pretty bad. but we but we learned a lot from that experience, all of us. And I remembered how much I really want a set of the walkie-talkies, so that in another situation I could even loan one to somebody so that we could all stay in touch and they wouldn't have been so nervous about what happened to Lesa. She's not behind us anymore. Right? But they can't pick up the phone. I knew I couldn't pick up the phone. I just got to do it. I'm going to die. I'm going to cause an accident. I got to get off the highway. So I did, and we maneuvered, but I think we all learned a lot on that little thing. And that was probably very scary. Okay. Oh, cool, Beth. Yeah, I think that I didn't realize that they're calling the first women's RTR. That group we had at like the third RTR that I was at, I think it was the third one, where we just had a circle of women and we had like an hour just for women to talk about anything we wanted to talk about. If we wanted to talk about periods and whatever else, we could do it there. And relationships and all of that. And I guess they're calling that the first women's RTR. It kind of went some other places. And then I did teach some classes. They were doing round table, they weren't round tables. What were they called? I forgot what they called. Anyways, where you had 20 minutes to teach somebody something, and then another group of people would come in and you teach the same thing for 20 minutes again. And it happened 5 times in one day with different groups of, and it was like, that was tiring, but it was good. It was a lot of fun. And of course I like the big desk in the front of the room. I like to, pretty good. You followed me off the road. Yeah, and then I did how many miles of dirt road, which you probably would have been real scared of. But, uh, but it was, yeah, it showed me again how important it is for me to, especially in that fire situation, had I had the walkie-talkies from, if I had had at least a set of two, I could have given one to somebody else. And then I knew somebody else in the group had a set, and we could have all communicated. It would have worked. But I do need those. That's kind of a piece I need to add. Okay, so we will see you all next week. And I hope that you've rat and snake problems. Oh, that's what's keeping you from. Oh, the rat and snake thing. Okay, yeah. Okay, let me tell you about that wise woman, and we'll do it kind of quick and then we'll go. Okay, so the rat and snake thing. Just know this, rodents. Okay, rodents include prairie dogs. They may not be true rodents, but whatever. Prairie dogs, rats, mice, field mice, gerbil mice, kangaroo rats, all of those kinds of small animals, ground squirrels, chipmunks, they're all rodents, okay? Wherever they live, they're kind of messy, okay? They like messy. They create messy. It's how they have a nice warm nest to raise their babies in. Rodents are snakes' favorite food. Okay, so one way you find out what to do about the problems that you have with some kind of pest is the pest you don't want. In my case, I do not want snakes, okay? Don't like them. You find out what their favorite food is. The favorite food is what you want to get rid of because they'll go where their favorite food lives. So, snakes follow rodents. So if you know there's a rodent problem, snakes are going to be where the rodents are. They're not going to live far away because it's food source. So to get rid of snakes, you get rid of the rodents. Okay, there are a lot of pack rats on my property. Why are there a lot of pack rats on my property? Because I have a lot of juniper trees. Juniper trees tend to drop juniper berries for one, but they also require water, provide shade, right? It's not leaves, and they're not needles exactly, but they have the stuff that falls off the tree when the seasons change. And fuzzy bark junipers, the bark peels and shreds and looks like Chewbacca fur. Okay, it looks fuzzy, and if you pull it apart, it gets really fluffy. Well, it makes a really good rat nest. So in areas where there are a lot of juniper trees and the juniper trees are close together, then a rat or a rodent can travel from one tree to with less chance of getting eaten by something. So they live in those areas because they don't get eaten as fast. Now, the other things that love to eat rodents are hawks, birds of prey, hawks, owls, stuff like that, right? Okay. Guess whose favorite food is a rattlesnake? Roadrunner. So if you see a roadrunner, he's probably near a rattlesnake. So stick that in your memory. And when you see a lot of roadrunners, kind of, aren't they cute? And don't camp near them. For me, I'm not going to camp near them. But they are cute. Quail, on the other hand, have different predators. And if quail feel safe, you're probably pretty safe near the quail. Okay. So especially if it's a place where they're having babies. There's lots of that around Quartzsite. And so you can find some pretty safe places and see some really cool things. Okay. So the rats and rodents. So what I find is, especially on the property that I bought, clear away from where you need space. Just keep cleaning away from what you need for space. The cleaner it is, the neater it is. So now I've had that property long enough, or I've been on that property long enough, that I have raked spring and fall and keep it clear, okay? And so I generally am able to keep the rats and rodents away from what I consider my yard. My yard has redwood snow and sand fence around it that allows me to keep small animals inside that if I have a dog visiting or something. And let's see, and the other, and it keeps the bigger things like the coyotes out of that immediate area along with the cattle. Because the way my particular piece of property is, I can't really fence cattle off my property because I own the top of a ridge and it goes down 3 or 4 stories worth down a ridge. And you can't really fence that very good. So I chose to fence a little yard, and then I fenced the front part of my property where people would be seeing it or vehicles would be. So it's what I've had to do because of where my property is. So basically, the more you clean away, and then where I stored my firewood is outside the yard fence, away from where I would stay. And because the rats and the snakes, the rodents, and the things that will eat them are going to gravitate to a place like a wood pile. And so if you keep the wood pile off the ground, in Arizona, what I found is 2 cement blocks high off the ground, and keep it only one 17-inch piece of wood wide for your stacks of wood. You'll have much cleaner, neater, much less problems with any animals trying to move into the wood pile and make it home. And so I hope that helps. The other thing is that spring and fall, I check my engine compartments every month when I check my fluids, which I do regularly on payday, unless I need to, for some reason, be monitoring it more than that because my mechanic might have said so. But so I have a visual sense every month that the rats have not gotten in the engine of the car. But spring and fall, when the weather starts to change, and for me, I'm so used to being outside that I can sense that before other people seem to. And you could just tell. It's like, oh yeah, a certain kind of bird just showed up, weather changing. We got another week or 2, and that's it. So during that change of weather, spring and fall, I sweep out anything, pine needles that I've gathered or whatever in the engine compartment, and I spray down the engine compartment and my vehicles, spring and fall, with full strength original, simple green, and I don't have any problems with the rodents anymore because that's what I've chosen to do. So clean away from the space you need. Do not leave piles of anything anywhere. If you're doing a composting pile, make sure that you've read whether you're doing it for humanure or not. Read the humanure handbook to teach you how to properly insulate your compost pile. If you do it with bales of straw in the right format, you will not have rodents in your compost either. You might find that you have a fox, which I have had, bedding down in the straw on the top. But other than that, I haven't had any problems with the rodents anymore. So I hope that's helpful. So we got in rodents, we talked about fostering and adopting dogs on the road. We talked about walkie-talkies and communication. I'll try to change the title so that it says some of that. And I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful week. And if you're down in that quartzsite area, you'll probably see me in about a weekish, depending on the weather and whatever I have to talk to Angie about. Thing. Exactly, exactly. And let me tell you, that whole Florida thing, you can't tell me that in all these disasters they didn't have more trouble with alligators and stuff. You can't tell me that. Because we know they had a field day. Anyways, y'all have a great week. Be good to each other. I feel like I should have had an ending comment to make, and I can't think of one. Um, Keep it simple. No, keep life simple. Travel light and often because it changes your perspective. And build healthy relationships. Don't forget boundaries in your healthy relationships. I've been noticing that again. And my homework from my therapist this week, I'm going to leave you with that too. My homework from my therapist this week was to notice the different faces of prosperity. That's an interesting thing. Anyways, y'all have a great week. Bye. Ciao. I'm so glad y'all come.